Hey, what's up, everybody? Andrew from Fantasy Aid here to give you my first baseman rankings for the 2017 fantasy baseball season. Now, this list took a little bit longer than I thought because there were just so many debates I had with myself on my rankings, and I don't know if I have it perfectly the way I want it, but I think this is the rankings I feel most comfortable with. Now, at number one, we've got Paul Goldschmidt, who actually, it depends on who you ask if he did better or worse in 2016 than 2015. His OPS actually fell quite a bit from 1,005 to .899 in 2016. But he managed to retain his value as the stolen bases increased to 11. He had 32 stolen bases last year, which no one saw coming. I think his stolen base total kind of overshadows how much he actually regressed in 2015. But regardless, he's still first round talent, so he just edges out the number one guy ahead of the next guy, who is Anthony Rizzo. I had a debate back and forth between them, but I ultimately settled on this. Rizzo makes an excellent case for number one, and I would love to have either on my team. Rizzo manages to have career highs in hits, RBIs, average, slugging, and OPS. He tied his career high in runs and home runs. So obviously his steals fell off, but as I said last offseason, you really shouldn't expect the steals to be there. I think 2015 is kind of an outlier on that, but obviously Rizzo had another great year. He's on a great offense, and that's why he's at number two. Of course, we got number three. We got Miggy. He had another great year for his Hall of Fame resume. 38 home runs, which was an improvement over 18 in 119 games in 2015. He hasn't hit under 313 since 2008, which is absolutely insane if you think about it. He doesn't seem to be slowing down, and he's not even first-round talent anymore. He's dropped out of there. So, I mean, you can do a lot worse at first base. This is a guy that I would be happy to snag in the second round. Of course, at number four, we have Edwin Encarnacion, who was the story of the offseason when he signed a 4-year, $80 million deal with the Cleveland Indians. I don't think this will affect his value much, but there are some concerning signs with Encarnacion. He struck out 138 times in 2016, which isn't much for a slugger like him, but that was the first time he struck out over 100 times in a season since 2008 in Cincinnati. Is this because of the declining bat speed? As you can see, his strikeout totals have been rising the last 4 years, going from 10% in 2013 to 19.7% last year, which obviously isn't a huge deal. But it's just there are some warning signs there. Regardless, he will probably hit the most home runs at first base this year. His only real challenger is Chris Davis in that department. And obviously the Indians have a great offense, so he's a perfect fit there. At number five, we have Joey Votto. Now, if I was only ranking OBP leagues, Votto would be above Encarnacion. But just in general, he's at number five. He had another elite season with a great OPS of 985. And really, it's a tale of two halves. He struggled in the first half where he only batted 252. But in the second half, he was absolutely untouchable. He batted 408 in 262 at-bats with 15 home runs, giving him an OPS of 1.158. Now, that is just insane. He's got great plate discipline, even with Cincinnati not being the best team. He is definitely one of those elite first basemen. And as you can kind of look at it, first base is really deeper than we kind of think. It's got a lot of talent. At number six, we have Freddie Freeman, who had an incredible season on what was supposed to be a down year. No, people weren't, me included, people were saying, oh, he's on the Braves, his stats are going to suffer, avoid him. But he proved us all wrong. He had a 302 average, 102 runs scored, 34 home runs, 91 RBIs. He was just insane last year. He surpassed his career high in home runs by 11, which was 23 in 2012 and 2013. He scored 102 runs, 91 RBIs, as I said, in what was predicted to be one of the worst teams. And the Braves offense has looked to improve for 2017. You know, you got rookies like Dansby Swanson. You got people like Ozzie Albies personally could be playing this year. So it'll be interesting to see if Freeman can continue to develop very encouraging signs from him in 2016. Then we got Chris Davis as number 7. He was not able to repeat his monster season from last year, but he didn't exactly do as bad as his horrible 2014. It was kind of more of a middle version of him. As I said with Encarnacion, it's either going to be Encarnacion or Davis as top homers this year, but his batting average does leave a lot to be desired. but he has a career batting average of 250, so I think it'll go up somewhat. At number 8, we have Jose Abreu, who had a solid performance in 2016, where he had 100 RBIs or more for the third straight year, and he also hit 319 in the second half with 14 home runs. And his strikeout rate also went down from 22.5% in the first half to 17% in the second half. Obviously, not as much of an offense around him. The White Sox are kind of being gutted, but it doesn't look like they're going to move him. And I don't think he'll get back up to where he was in 2014, but it's plausible he could get back up to the 30 mark in home runs for 2017. At number 9, we have Hanley Ramirez. He was a player I whiffed on last season. He was on my bust list, but he had one of the best seasons of his career in terms of power, reaching his highest home run total since 2008. And this year it's encouraging because with Ortiz retired, he's probably going to DH more, which should really help him health-wise. And obviously the Red Sox have one of the most potent offense in the AL, so he should have a lot of guys to drive in. Number 10, we have Eric Hosmer, who was able to crack the 20-plus home run column for the first time in his career, but his OPS did fall from 822 to 761, mostly due to his average declining to 266 from 297 in the previous year. He also hit 9 less doubles, only managing 24. But the increased power is encouraging, and Hosmer will provide you a steady average and a decent amount of all the other stats. So, I mean, at number 10, getting these stats, you're not going to find these at any other position besides maybe shortstop. Oh, outfield, obviously. At number 11 is Wil Myers. He made my 2017 bust list, but I still kind of felt bad putting him at number 11. He burst onto the scene after having a few injury-plagued career. He was a decent prospect. He's got the pedigree. But he cratered in the second half. He only managed 223 average with 9 homers, though the stolen bases were pretty consistently distributed between the season. He definitely has a lot of upside and could vastly outperform this rank, but I just don't trust him yet, and I think I need to see another year before I consider him legit. Maybe 11 is too low, but that's kind of where I have him right now. Number 12, we have Greg Bird. He was out all 2016 with an injury, which should make him a great value in drafts in 2017. Obviously, Teixeira is retired, so Bird has the inside track on the first base job in New York. He has shown great discipline for walks in the minors. He walked 107 times in 130 games in 2013. He won't hit more than 280, but he'll provide you enough power and other stats to be well worth where he's drafted right now. Number 13, we have Mr. Solid Adrian Gonzalez. He had another decent but unspectacular season with good average with a sprinkling of power. And this is the last time Adrian played less than 150 games was in 2005 with the Texas Rangers. I mean, that says a lot about him. He's Mr. Steady. He'll give you distributed stats all through the year. He won't wow you, but he'll give you 20-ish home runs. He is starting to show his age with the dwindling power, but you could do a lot worse as a late-in first baseman. Number 14, we have Josh Bell, who will be a rookie this year. He had a short cup of coffee with the Pirates in 2016, but he should be their everyday first baseman in 2017. He had a great career average in the minors at 303, and he's not going to wow you with his power, but his skill set is a contact hitter with great patience. He struck out 19 times last year, but walked 21 in the majors. His plate discipline is well advanced for his age, and he should continue to get better. I'm excited to see his career moving forward. Number 15, we have Albert Pujols. He'll be 37 this season. And so far, he's managed to keep fantasy relevance up, especially in the home run department. And he managed to jump batting average over his 244 average in 2015. He is getting more injury prone. The foot's always a concern. And for me personally, I feel like he's one of those guys that when he goes, he'll plummet. Just fall off the map. So I would definitely draft a backup in his case. Someone like, even on his team, CJ Cron would be a good backup. But kind of cautious on Pujols, but obviously you can't write him off just because of who he is. So if you want to ask me questions, you can hit me up on Twitter at fantasy81 or email me at fantasy81@gmail.com. This is my first base rankings. Thanks for watching.